Hello. We are out on a 10K 6-mile run, something like that, the day after the Jailbreak 100. And my phone lens is dirty. I'll have to clean that real quick. What a really cool race. Going to talk about it a little bit as we get going and see how this feels. I just got started, but yeah, just an amazing race. You got some smells there? Okay, let's go. Come on. So I averaged like 289 or something watts the first hour and a half or so. I don't know, whatever it was. But anyway, up until about mile 30. And that's when it broke apart. And you ride way faster whenever you're riding in a group. And the guys that won rode as at least a 3-man group at 21 point something miles an hour, and then we're racing for the finish at the very end with just a few seconds in between them, all three. And anyway, the race blows apart. At some point you're going to find yourself solo, and then with aero bars, it's awesome triathlon practice. It's really cool. And I had raised my aero bars with risers that you can buy from Profile Design, and that cured my neck pain while keeping my handlebars in the exact same position for bike control, which is really cool. So the race is 100 miles, which means it goes from the prairie all the way into the East Texas pine forest and back, which is wild. And there's even a 55-mile version if you want to do that, or 20. And Emily was calling me on my headphones to let me know that Gary was like about a mile ahead of me towards the end. And maybe you can catch him and keep going. I was putting the power down, trying to catch him. And after a while, I was like, wait, what if somebody's trying to catch me? And I look behind and there's this guy chasing me down with just a mile or two to go. And it was like a race to the death. And he caught me at the finish line and beat me by like half a second. Our finishing times are they're the same finishing time, because it doesn't show that he beat me by half a second. He's ahead of me though. And then that was awesome. What racing. And then to walk just one block to a really good local Mexican restaurant. And I tell you, small towns in Texas do Mexican food really, really good. So what a race. Absolutely incredible. I'm on cloud 9. That was so cool. The Jailbreak 100 or 55 in Iola, Texas. Check it out. Something else that's funny is I was debating, should I run with my rear radar because it causes aero drag and it's kind of heavy. And then I remember from my past races, the radar will tell you if a cyclist is coming up on you fast. And that matters. One, to catch a pack that's coming, then you can kind of slack off and get ready to latch on and move out of their way, you know. And then also, like I was saying, towards the end of the race, when somebody was trying to chase me down, I was getting alerts that somebody was trying to chase me down. So I'm a fan. Like, it was pretty freaking cool. It made it a lot more fun. And then of course, you know, not this race, but a lot of races are like 50% road. So it's nice to have an alert that there's cars coming up behind you and you need to get over if it's safe. So on this run, we're doing a lot of this. He also ate Emily's brother's birthday cake last night. It didn't have any chocolate in it, so he's okay. It's strawberry and stuff. But nice, easy run with little bits of walking and lots of stopping mixed in to let the legs warm up. I might run again tonight to get in my 12 miles for the day. But this is very, very nice. And it's cooler, so there's no snakes. We had a cold front come through. So lots of checking out things. A sniffari is what they call this. Sniffing stuff. All right, let's go. So when my friends and I used to go surfing, or if I was by myself in San Diego, we'd surf for a few hours and then wrap it up by going to a Mexican restaurant right there on the shoreline, getting some tacos, and talking about the surf session, and having a restaurant right there at the finish line where you can, you know, go over your war stories and hear from the support crew and like all kinds of stuff and things that other people saw. It's just so cool. It's the whole environment of doing a race that makes you want to come back, and I really like that. And then also, as a triathlete, you're never going to be as fast as like dedicated cyclists, and so you can hang on for a while in the group, but when they finally or shortly make work of you and break off on their own and it blows apart, then it becomes a long solo ride, a lot like trail running, where a lot of times you're like an ultra marathon, a lot of times you're by yourself and you're wanting to be as aero as you can because you're fighting a headwind. And so then the aero bars and everything, and there's no cars, and it ends up being just like the ultimate long distance triathlon, like Ironman style training, or, you know, race day. And then, but there's some people out there, and yeah, so you get the best of both worlds. You get or three worlds. You get, it's kind of like trail running, because yeah, you end up like riding next to people and talking to them, and then, but you're not going the same speed. Eventually one of you drops the other, and then you're by yourself again, and you're focusing on your nutrition, and you can, and because you're by yourself, and it's a lot of alone time for you to think, and it's just great. And then the beginning of the race is like NASCAR. So you get all this excitement of that. So yeah, it's like 2, 3, 4 kinds of races all in one. And I'm so glad to have a 100-miler like that nearby, and a 55-miler. That's unusual. Most of them around here are 60-something miles and a mix of about 50-50 pavement and gravel. Something that's interesting, I tried different this time, was no caffeine. And caffeine's different for everybody, but caffeine is, for everybody, an appetite suppressant. And if I'm going to get in 350 calories per hour to last 5-6 hours, those calories for energy are more important than caffeine, which is kind of like an artificial boost and won't last. It uses other things besides, you know, real calories, which you have a limited supply of. So to shut those down, those calories down, which you could keep taking more and more of if you didn't take caffeine, so that you can have a temporary boost with diminishing returns. I've been thinking about is that's what has been limiting my calorie uptake, because I've been trying to do 350 calories and I haven't been able to do it. But this race I was, and the difference was no caffeine. Very interesting. So yeah, if you're gonna do like an intense race for like half an hour, you know, 5K, 10K, mountain bike cross country race for like an hour and a half, something like that, then definitely caffeine. But then I think there's a diminishing rate of return the longer it goes, because the longer it goes, you need calories. These things become an eating competition, famously. Everybody knows that. And if you're restricting your eating because you're not hungry enough, or basically what happens is caffeine shuts down, in my case, it shuts down my stomach and stuff starts backing up. and then I don't want to eat anymore. So for my fuel, I used, to surprise Gary, because he thinks I used maple syrup, because I usually do. And I was kind of planning on it, but I decided maple syrup, I didn't have enough to make a full batch for 100 miles. So I used the old fallback table sugar. So half table sugar and half maltodextrin by weight. And 350 calories per hour. I used a calculator and everything to figure out. I think it's just over 1,000 calories per bottle. And 4 kind of tall bike bottles. But what was interesting is the fact that maltodextrin has almost no flavor. Makes it lighter than you would think, a lighter flavoring. And then for 100 of the sugar calories, I don't want to turn into the wind there, you won't be able to hear me. 100 of the sugar, table sugar calories, I actually used a scoop of Gatorade powder. So you can buy Gatorade powder in bulk, and I had the orange one, and I have a scoop that measures out to 25 grams, which is 100 calories. The big scoop in it, the normal scoop, is like 250 calories. Don't use that. But anyway, just 100 calories of Gatorade, which is flavored, orange flavored, mixed in with this other stuff in a tall water bottle, made it taste like orange creamsicle. It wasn't strong. It was kind of light tasting. And yeah, that's what I used for fueling. And so what I did is I made 6 hours worth, because who knows how long I was going to be out there. And when I was all done, I went this morning and looked to see. I tried to stay on track, you know, using a clock and all that stuff. And I think it was something like drinking 2/3 or 3/4 of a bottle per hour as I was going would make me last 6 hours. I can't do the math while I'm sitting here running. But anyway, I had about 15 minutes worth of fuel left in the last bottle, my only last bottle. So that's how I know I was able to use it all. 350 calories per hour. Which is also why I attribute to feeling so good today. And then I use sodium citrate, which you can also buy in bulk off Amazon for sodium, for electrolyte. It's not as strong tasting as regular salt. And for the same amount of sodium, it's actually easier on the stomach, because regular salt has sodium chloride. And that chloride, which is, if you want to equate it to something like chlorine, it's why you can't drink seawater. It makes you sick to your stomach. It's not the sodium, it's the chloride, to an extent. So sodium citrate is a common baking ingredient. It's totally safe. You add that to your water or your fuel. Be careful. We don't want to get into a snake. Must be a bunny rabbit or a skunk or something over there. Come on, let's go. Or a raccoon or a possum. Okay. It's real low water right there. There could be something. And so we saw a big copperhead the other day. Anyway, you can get in the same amount of sodium with nowhere near the upset stomach using sodium citrate. It's the ingredient they use if you melt cheese and add it to cheese, then it lets the cheese be runny. So it's a very common ingredient. And then you can have like here in Texas we have queso, which is like melted cheese you can dip chips in and stuff, kind of like fondue. It's really good. Oh, and something else that's fun. I found pink duct tape. It's called art tape. It's almost as strong as duct tape. It's pretty close. At Hobby Lobby. And the goal was for Gary and I to be easily picked out of the riders. So his wife, Sarah, and also Emily could pick us out as we're coming into the aid station easily and know it's us and be ready. Oh, and by the way, yeah, she called me, and you can wear headphones during these things. And I'm open ear headphones, and asked where I was, how I was doing, and what I would want at the aid station, which is so cool. Kind of like race radio. And anyway, with pink on us, such an unnatural color in nature and uncommon. And Gary and I are both like 6'3", we're big dudes. I don't think we're going to be mistaken for most women, and if they're wearing pink. And so Gary had on a pink jersey, which actually, that's what I've been looking for. And I think it helps a lot to be riding in pink in road traffic. You really stand out. And I put pink stripes, like racing stripes, on my helmet with this tape. So 2 vertical stripes. So Emily, on a white helmet, Emily could see me coming and know that's me. And then for fun, 2 little squares of pink tape. And this is like hot pink on the hoods, the forward-facing part of the hoods of my brake levers. And she said, yeah, she could totally tell it was me coming. And also Gary in the hot pink. And let's get ready. It's pretty cool. So yeah, Hobby Lobby pink tape. I think they also sell it. You can still get it online or like at a hardware store. But I'm part of the pink movement for guys when out cycling. I've got a really good pink jersey, but it's just too baggy now to wear for racing. But I love wearing that thing because you know cars can see you, but without wearing, you know, like fluorescent yellow or neon green, which looks not as pro. And because with the pink, I mean, you've got the Education First EF racing team with like Lachlan Morton and those other guys that wear hot pink all the time. It looks great. So you could do worse. All right. Almost done. All right, 6.5 miles. I do it again this evening. That'll be a marathon today after biking 100, racing 100 miles. Yesterday, always be training, ABT. And yeah, 220 watts power over 545 equates to my race weight, and on a tri bike, that's a right on the dot 5-hour Ironman split, which is awesome because that's a 10-hour Ironman with a half decent run and a decent swim. So I'm right on track where I want to be. Really, really cool. Pretty motivational. River sees another dog up here, so we're gonna get off the camera. All right, bye.